Oh, okay. Sup guys, it's your boy Justin here with another graphic novel review. Today we're reviewing Planetary Omnibus, written by Warren Ellis, with art by John Ramirez. Sorry, not John Ramirez Jr. John Cassaday. Oh my god. Sorry, I was watching like a comic book palace video where like Glenn was like trashing John Ramirez Jr. I don't even know why, but yeah, he was like, oh, because of his bad art, I guess, on the Kingpin or something. Oh, so yeah, I gotta say, man, this series was 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 a masterpiece, man. It was gourmet cuisine. Oh my god, this was like this series. Once in a while, you'll read something that's like, I wouldn't say it's like a life changer, but it was just like, holy crap! It justifies the hobby. I'll say the that I'll say that's the least I'll say on that, because it's like once in a while you're like, man, you read like graphic novels, comics. It's like kind of is like, it's like, what's the point of this? Because it's like, oh, you get to the end of, like, it just feels like a lot of the times you'll read like comics, it's like this kind of feels like a waste of time. Where here it's like it has a beginning, middle, and end. It's not like with like a lot of superhero stories where it's like the story never ends. There's always a new bad guy to fight, new crisis, new alien invasion on the horizon. Here it's like you got like a solid completed story. Even though the premise, this is a premise that where you can make like, you can keep the series going indefinitely. But no, Warren Ellis and John Cassaday was like, no, we have a plan, a series, and that's it. Even though the series starts off very episodic, which I'm not gonna go issue by issue because this is like an omnibus that collects all 27 issues of the main series, by Warren Ellis and John Cassaday, and some of the crossovers, like the Justice League crossover, the Batman crossover, and the Authority crossover, does not have the Gen 13 crossover. Which, if you want that, you have to get the Absolute Edition, which is another $100. I was like, screw that! I'm not paying another $100 for 16 pages or something. Oh my god! So the story for Planetary is that it's sci-fi. The series started in 1998 and ended around 2009, I think. Or at least that's when the crossovers might happen. It might have been 2006. But the story is you have three main characters. There's Elijah Snow, who's a detective, an immortal detective, whose power is to manipulate temperature. You have the other member of the team, Jaquita Wagner, who has super speed and strength, and you have the drummer, who has powers similar to Mr. Terrific. Well, not exactly. No, he's more powerful than Mr. Terrific. He can process information. And the story is about basically they have this organization called Planetary, where they're mystery archaeologists, where they gather all the secret history of the 21st century, things that people don't want to know. They want to go out and gather that information to release it to the world, and to find all the scientific advancements that are being hidden from humanity by nefarious organizations like their version of the Fantastic Four, which is basically the main nemesis of the series. Oh, which they even have similar powers, except for their version of Mr. Fantastic, which is what was his name? Randall Dowling, whose ability is that he can basically stretch his mind and inhabit like other people, which And here's their version of where was their version of the Fantastic Four? There's their version of Invisible Woman. Where is he? There's their version of Johnny Storm, William Leather. And where's Dowling? There's their James Bond James Bond character. Yeah, because the series is basically a combination, is basically X-Files meets Venture Bros, but more serious Venture Bros. Which, for people who don't know what Venture Bros was, Venture Bros was basically a parody of Johnny Quest, but if Johnny Quest took place in like a parody version of like, you know, MCU in DC. Trying to find Dowling. Oh, there's their version of the Thing called Jacob Green, and when you finally see what he looks like, man, it's horrific, dude. The guy, it's horrific. There's what he looks like. Even his tongue is weird shaped, man. I was telling Darkseid's comics, man. He's basically a combination of Swamp Thing and Hulk. There's William Leather again. Which they have their version of the Shadow. There's Dean Ambrose. Who, sorry, not, is it Dean Ambrose? Or Chase Ambrose, sorry. Or Ambrose Chase, I think that was his name. Sorry. There's Randall Dowling. So yeah. The story starts off with our main character, Elijah Snow, who gets recruited by Jaquita Wagner to join the Planetary group, who has 4 members. The 4th member is always hidden, and he's there to recruit the 3rd member of the team, Ambrose Chase, who died during a mission against the Four, that's what their version of the Fantastic Four is called. Well, I know it's not very imaginative, creative, right? And he gets told that like they're basically an organization that's trying to uncover the secrets of 20th century, and some of the issues missions they encounter is that the first mission they encounter Savage inspired character called Doc Brass, who back in the 30s led a team of superheroes, including like a Tarzan, a Shadow. There was like a Thomas Edison guy, the Aviator, a group of superheroes who and they had their own version of the Mandarin or Fu Manchu, who was called Hark, who created a computer that to view the multiverse, only for an evil version of the Justice League to see them and then invade Earth. Another issue where they go to this island in Japan called Zero Island, where there's kaiju. You have an issue where there was a building that gets bombed, and underneath the building there's like a casket that has a trans-dimensional vessel, which they use near the end of the series. Yeah. And then, like, there's issues where you get the individual characters' backstories. You find out who the 4th man is, which was pretty obvious. And there's, like, a really cool issue where they have, like, their version of Hellblazer. John Constantine, who used to date Jaquita Wagner. And it goes on. If you ever wondered, how come so many, like, British comic book writers from the 80s are such like socialists, like are such socialists. Apparently they explained it there, where in the 80s they had Margaret Thatcher, who Warren Ellis, I don't want to say he said it, but the character says was a mad woman, and that's why they're so left wing, man. It's because they had this tyrannical right winger as as their leader, which I have no idea if Margaret Thatcher is as bad as people say. As much. All I know about her is from what I learned from a Sherlock Holmes episode, which Sherlock Holmes shows up in this series. Which there's a mystery in the comic book, which I'm not going to spoil what it is, the secret, but where it turns out a lot of superheroes were born on the same day in the same year, in January 1st, 1900, and. One of the main characters, Elijah Snow, was one of those people born on that day, and that's why a lot of the superheroes are either immortal or have long lives, their version of James Bond, who's pretty cool, who's best friends with Elijah Snow, who we could have used more of. This series was so good. I wanted to stop reading the book, stop reading it after I finished it, because it's the crossovers. There's no way because crossovers usually suck. They feel like huge wastes of time. The crossovers here were actually good, but holy crap, man! If you're an H.P. Lovecraft fan, which I don't even know if they said his name. If you know what H.P. Lovecraft looks like, you recognize him right away. Which that issue. That was in the Authority crossover, where they're fighting alien insects from another dimension, and that has art by Phil Jimenez, which beautiful art. There's H.P. Lovecraft, and boy, did they! Some of the things he said, they really crap on H.P. Lovecraft. That make him come off oh my god, very bad, I'll say that. They really crap on H.P. Lovecraft, which is Jesus Christ, if you're gonna rip off the guy, not to say they do rip him off, but this was a good issue, which I think it works, is because you have the person who's writing the crossover created both teams, so he knows them well. But if you're a huge Authority fan, they don't really, they're not they basically handle all the action scenes, and that's it. Which you wouldn't know if you're new to Authority. You wouldn't know that the Batman and Superman rip off on the teams were gay unless you saw that. Which you're what? You would be what? A little confused there, but yeah, they're gay. I think there's an issue where they get married. You have the Justice League crossover, which this was very good. Where it's Justice League is taking on the Planetary, and at first you're you don't know if it's if this is well, obviously this was before Wildstorm and DC fused, so at first it's you don't know if if the Justice League are the good guys or the Planetary is the bad guys. So that was a cool issue, and the art is very good by Jerry Ordway. You got the Batman crossover, which has art by John Cassaday, and this was also very good. But I think the best one, to me, was the Justice League one. But yeah, this story was very weird. And then here you see the cover galleries, the script, which did I mention there's an afterword? There's an introduction by Alan Moore and afterword by Joss Whedon. So I'll just go with my likes and dislikes for this graphic novel. Likes. The art is good. The stories are good. The writing is superb. The action scenes, when there were action scenes, were good. Now the dislikes. There's a lot of techno babble. There's a lot of issues where it's just where one of the main characters is interviewing somebody and they're just listening to somebody give their life story. again, some of the best action scenes happen early on in this series, to the point where, like, the only time the first action scene they have against one of the members of the Four is, like, pretty much the only action scene they ever have against the Four, because the other times, I guess, well, they learn early on that, you know, in a frontal confrontation, they can't really handle any members of the Four because they're too strong. So they kind of strategize, use their brains, and come up with plans to take them out, right? But, you know, if you're somebody who's a fan of superhero comics, and you're like, man, you want to see, you know, action, like, you know, you want to see, like, characters fight. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're not gonna get that. Especially, like, I think even, like, the one member of the team who's not, like, a super genius, who's, like, one of the only main fighters, is, like, Jaquil Wagner, and she's like, yeah, I think at the end of this year, she realized, like, how useless she is. Oh, but I love how there's subtle things, too, like, spoiler alert, but for, like, the Planetary versus Justice League one, but this is just a theory of mine, but it's kind of implied that the drummer, that version of the drummer betrayed Planetary and helped the Justice League beat them. Because he, like, drummer's whole thing is that he's information gathering, right? He has information gathering powers or whatever. So he kind of withheld, like, crucial information from Planetary that kind of led to the Justice League winning. Which is not really the Justice League, because it's only, like, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of what other complaints I had. Oh, yeah, if you're an H.P. Lovecraft fan, and you like politics in your, like, comics, I mean, there's only one or two issues where it gets political, honestly. But yeah, like, if you're an H.P. Lovecraft fan, like, holy crap, avoid the Authority crossover. Which, I can't wait like, how is it that we're getting an Authority movie, but the Authority comics graphic novels aren't back in print, man? Like, holy crap. Like, at my LCS, they have, like, some of the volumes, man, but they don't have volume 1, so I'm, like, debating, do I just get the volumes they have and hold off on reading them till they get reprinted, or should I just, like, wait until they get reprinted? I have no idea. I need to talk to my comic book guy. But yeah, this was, like, the only time I was tempted, really, to give, like, a review, like, a 9 out of 10. But obviously, that was before I read the H.P. Lovecraft issue. So, but, like, seriously, man, it's nice to, like, not read, like, you know, to read a series, like, a comic book that has a beginning, middle, end, that, you know, that actually feels like you know, that's a series, not just, like, a random story and, like, a long-running, never going to end story. Not that, like, even, like, comics that don't, like, that do have finales, sometimes they kind of sequel bait and they never get the, you know, the series, like, you know, the sequel or whatever, continuation or whatever. But here it's like, you know, it ends. It has an ending, and you don't really need more. But fuck, man, am I going to check out more Warren Ellis after this? No, I always wondered, why do people love Warren Ellis so much, man? Because, like, and now I know. So yeah, that's it for this review, guys. 8 out of 10. My next graphic novel review, where did I put it? Oh my god. It's going to be Marvel Knights Punisher Purgatory. I heard this sucks, but you know what? We're going to find out. That's what we're here for. And even if it does suck, we got to review crappy comics too. Because, you know, what's the point of only reviewing good stuff? You know, you might as well not watch the video. So that's it, guys. And I might, after Punisher Purgatory, I might review Rebel Moon issue 2. I'm gonna go pick it up. But if they don't have it, I'm not gonna go hunt it down. Screw it. And we'll review something else for the indie slot. Okay, that's it for this review, guys. Peace out.